nemesis. I mean, there were so many stories said of the last, I've told, the ones that I heard I've already shared. The last, since Moishe Shabbos, if I bring in last night at about 10:30, you were on? The Fabrenga that went from the Shluchim, you don't know to talk about, if from Moishe Shabbos, it started Moishe Shabbos and went uninterruptedly till last night, 10:30. Last night was hard to get on because the Zoom could only take 1,000. You got on and when someone slipped out, the minimum amount of people, phones, logged on at any given time for the 24/7 since Moishe Shabbos is like 400 devices spanning all of the whole globe. It is the most incredible Fabrengen historic that heaven has ever seen and the world has ever seen. All right, today's story. So in Borough Park, there's a Chassidic court called Sasov, and I could look up their family name. It's not a very big Chassidus, but it's a Chassidus. Goes back some generations. So there's actually, I think there's more than one Sasov Rebbe, one in Borough Park, one in Israel, could be even three, brothers. So one of them relates as follows: in our family, it's already generations that we put on tefillin after Rabbi Tam's tefillin from the time of the Chassidic. But we're not particular to put on Rabbi Tam's tefillin right after Rashi. Sometime in the course of the day. Tavshim Mem in 1980, something happened to me that I cannot explain. It was in the morning, and I take it off my Rashi tefillin, and I dozed. And I was going to eat breakfast and then put on a bin tam. In my doze-like state, I see the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he says to me with the tone of amazement, "Ich verstehe nicht, I don't understand. You're a Rebbe of Chassidim. Surely you know the pasuk in Tehillim, Shmeir Tam Urei Yosher." Simple meaning is God, the wholesome, and watch over the upright. But as you can see, Tam is an allusion to Rabbi Tam. The word Yosher is the letters Rashi. So the meaning is, I never heard this before, I read this story, frankly. He says, you know the pasuk, but now that Rabbi gives him a taich in the pasuk, I don't think this is anywhere except for this fellow's dream, which we now are the beneficiaries of in the story. How did Rabbi explain the pasuk? Urei Yosher, when you can still see the Rashi, Shmer Tam, put on the Rabbi Tams. When the Rashis are still visible because you just were wearing them immediately, not then put on the Rabbi Tams, not like when the Rashis are put away and you're not seeing Urei Yosher. No. When Shmer Tam, when should you observe the Rabbi Tams? Urei Yosher, when you can still see the Rashi. I woke up and I said, my heart was pounding. Okay. So from then on, I put on the Rabbi Tam's tefillin right after Rashi's tefillin. Sometime later, I went to see the Rebbe in Yechidus. There was Yechidus in those days. And the Rebbe asks me, what's your meaning? Is it your custom to put on the Rabbi Tam's right after Rashi? And I said, Mamash, open Ruach HaKodesh. He didn't make a big deal out of it, but I just asked the question. Is it your custom to put on? Then he tells a story like this. A couple of years ago, I was at the airport. This is the source of a Rebbe that you saw. I was telling the story. I said this to a few brothers. So I was in the airport somewhere in Chutz Loretz at a stopover. It's in the morning, and I'm waiting for my flight. It's like they were coming from Israel, so there was a minyan, Vidav and Shachris at the airport. At the end of davening, the time came to board the flight. Took up my Rashi tefillin, and it's already getting, the clock is ticking, and they're announcing it's boarding. Everybody has to quickly board the flight. But I decided, this is a few years after that dream, which I never missed, that I'm putting on Rabbeinu Tam's film no matter what. And I might miss the flight, so be it. I'm putting on Rabbeinu Tam's film, which is what I did. Put on Rabbeinu Tam's film, and then I was a bus. He had people accompanying him. I went down to the bus, which took them to the flight, and then we hear that the flight had been delayed. The door. But the problem was that the doors were stuck to get onto the flight. So people were still in the bus waiting there. And people were on the flight, but they could not close the door. And only after we went inside, the doors closed and the flight took off. So heaven saw to it that I didn't lose from putting on my Rabbeinu Tam's tefillin right after Rashi. All right, friends, have a wonderful Shabbos, an inspiring Shabbos, and only good news. Oy vey. It's 9:20. Okay, next year.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. All the very best to you.
Amen. All of us in good health.